through the thicket, stepped out into the open. The nipple was capped, the cap snug, the hammer at full cock. Somewhat dangerous, he thought, to carry a loaded rifle in a skittery boat, but this was dangerous country. Jake strode to the little knoll, wading through tall gamma grass, leaving a swath in his wake. He climbed to its bare, rounded pinnacle, looked to the east, knowing he might have to wait some. He had not seen his partner, Joe Perkins, for 2 days. Joe, a tow-headed kid of 16, homely as a darning egg, was bringing up Jake's horse and 2 mules, 2 of their panniers full of more trade goods. Jake figured they could fill up 2 more panniers and pile some of the goods on top of the pack frames without killing the mules. It was Jake's idea to barter for pelts this spring, sell the furs in Taos or Santa Fe. He was not a trapper, but he had known many of them, listened to their lively talk around the evening stove or at the tables of the tippling houses. The work, he knew, was hard and dangerous. From William Bent and Seraine St. Vrain, Cadet Chateau, and others, he had learned that the easiest way to a fortune was as a trader, not standing hip-deep in ball-freezing water to retrieve a drowned beaver caught in the jaws of a 5-pound steel trap. The distant, muffled thunder of hoofbeats broke Stonecipher from his reverie. He stood on tiptoe, craning to get a better glimpse of the eastern horizon. A blot, then 2, then 3 appeared, bobbing through the gamma grass, heading straight for him. Jake raised his rifle, shook it in signal. The blots grew closer, took on shapes. Less than 3 minutes later, Joe Perkins, leading Jake's horse and the pair of mules, hove into full view, riding at a breakneck gallop. Jake frowned. Joe's horse was lathered and blowing hard. Perkins reined in at the knoll, his chest heaving, eyes wide as saucers. Jake, we got about 10 minutes before a pack of Utes show up here, hungry for hair. How many? Jake asked with calmness. I counted 6. Joe fought for breath. About 5 more than I figured I could handle. They chasing you? They wasn't at first, but they are now. Jake looked at his horse, the mules. They were too sleek with sweat, foamy with yellowish lather. Light down. Let's hobble them animals, he said. What are we going to do, Jake? Ain't nothing but to wait for 'em now. Them horses and mules can't go another foot, and we got to protect our goods. Them are Utes, Jake. They's painted and got blood in their eyes. Jake grabbed his horse's halter, shook the lead rope from Joe's frozen hand. Joe dismounted, gulping in great draughts of precious air. He followed, leading his horse as Jake headed toward the willows. They had the animals hobbled inside the willow thicket within a few minutes. We'd best get behind that knoll, said Jake, and he started back through the swath in the gamma grass. Joe jerked his .52 caliber J. Henry rifle from its boot and, still panting, followed Stonecipher to the knoll. Here comes one of 'em, said Jake as he knelt down on the west slope of the mound. But he ain't no Ute. Joe crawled up alongside the older man. Nope, said Perkins. He ain't got no paint on his face. The rider drew closer. Arapaho buck, said Jake. As the 2 men watched, the Arapaho's pinto foundered. The Indian hit the ground running. He don't have no rifle, said Joe. Not even a knife. The Utes broke over the horizon. They began yapping like a pack of coyotes. One of them saw the Arapaho and let out a high-pitched yip. He gestured toward the enemy with his bow, and the other Utes whooped and fanned out behind their leader. They'll get that buck, said Joe, and maybe forget about me and you. Damned if they will, said Stonecipher. He raised up, brought the Hawken to his shoulder. He cocked the hammer, picked out the closest Ute, a brave who had his lance raised to hurl at the fleeing Arapaho's back. Jake ticked the set trigger, fingered the front trigger. He led the Ute, squeezed off the shot. The Ute brave threw up his arms. The lance flew from his hand, tumbling through the air. His pony ran out from under him. He landed in the tall grass and lay still. The other Utes wheeled toward the puff of white smoke that hung like a cloud over the knoll. Joe picked a target, fired his Henry at a charging Ute. The Ute crumpled and fell from his pony. His bow snapped as his body crunched down on it. Jake wondered if he'd have time to reload the Hawken. As he poured powder down the barrel, he knew he wouldn't make it. 3 screeching Utes angled toward him.